Alright students, fine. Girls and boys, once again a very special good evening to one and all. Welcome back to our 40 days data analytics bootcamp. We are on day 10. Alright, anyways, without wasting any further moment of time, let's have a quick start. The way we usually always do, with a quick recap of what we have learned yesterday. Okay, we started the class yesterday with dictionary, which was yet another data structure supported by Python. Dictionary stores data in the form of key value pair. Alright, fine. Dictionaries never make use of any index or indices to refer the data. It accesses the data with the help of its key names. Like any other data structure, we can also add data in the dictionary. We can remove the data from the dictionary. We can update the data of the dictionary. We can use for loop to run or iterate over the dictionary key values. Alright, fine. Later half of the class yesterday, we moved on to understand the concept of Python functions. And this is how we concluded the concept of function. That if you want a certain operation which is going to be a repeated task in the program, so better you make it or wrap it as a function in the program and call it whenever it is necessary or it is required. Alright, so that is actually what is the definition of the function. It's a block of code who executes only on being called upon. Am I right? A block of code that is executed only on being called upon. Right, okay. Today here we are to understand the modules in Python, some inbuilt module, and then later half of the session how to create our own module. But before that, we are yet left to do a small subtopic of function, that is function returning values. So here we go. Okay, here we go please. This is my lot of stuffs are opened here. Okay, fine. Ignore it. This is not required. Okay. Let's say I have a function called as def for define. That's a keyword to create a new function. I have a function called as add. This function accepts an argument in a or as a. Considering A is a list and I want to add all the elements of the list like we did yesterday. So we say sum equals 0 because I want to keep the intermediate sum in this variable. For every I in A, sum will update itself with the value of I. That means sum will keep adding the elements of the list in itself one by one. This way, when you reach the last element of the list, sum would have got in itself the aggregated value. Correct. And finally, we say print the sum. Correct. This is what is the task function add will do every time it has been called upon. Alright. Fine. So this is a list. Let me say x. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The sum of all the natural numbers from 1 to 10 is, I think, 55. Okay. So let me call the function add by passing x. X will be received in A. So basically A and X are pointing at the same list on the memory. Correct? A welcomed X in it. Fine. So when you write in the function I in A, practically speaking, it is actually I in X only. Right? So each I in A will be summed and the sum will keep updating itself by adding every next number in it. And I say run. Okay, so it returns me that the total sum is 55. Okay, this is something we have learned yesterday. People, there is a concept in function called as returning values. At times it might also happen function returns something when you call it. Alright, I repeat one more time. Whenever we call the function, ऐसा भी हो सकता है उसे बुलाने पर वो आपको कुछ रिटर्न में वापस दे. So let's see how it happens. Okay, so this is my function add. This is a sum. Okay, it is adding I in the sum. But instead of printing sum, alright, instead of printing sum, okay, sorry for the disturbance. Instead of printing sum, it rather says return sum. I repeat one more time. Instead of printing sum, I say return sum. Now what is happening here? We calculated the sum, and whoever will call this function add, the function in return will return the sum. This was my first point. Number 2, always remember, whenever function returns a value, the program needs to accept it. Understood? That means store it in some variable. Jinko nahi samjha for them. Say if somebody is throwing an object from one end. Say I have some stuff in my hand. Okay, I'm not sitting around. Say like this. I have some stuff in my hand. Right? If I throw this from one end, I need a person standing at the other end to catch it or to hold it. Same thing is happening here. The function is returning, giving you back something. So whenever you call the function, whatever is the function giving you back, you need to take it. Accept it, take it, catch it. How to do that? This is where we are calling the function. Correct? Highlighted part, add x. Right? So whenever we call this function, whatever this function will return, let me store in a variable, say result. Okay. Now practically speaking, if I run this code, it will show you no output because we are not printing anything anywhere. Right? Function ने जो return किया उससे लेकर उसका return data हमको print करना पड़ता है. So if I say print result. Okay. So basically output is same this way or this way. Right? In the first case we made function itself to print the sum. But in the second case, we made function to return the value. Caller will accept the value and print it. The program says to the function, no, you don't print and show it to me or give it to me. Instead, you just return it. वो print करने वाला काम मैं करूँगा. That's what is the concept. Right? I understand for the people who are thinking, if the output is this way, that way, same, then why should we make function to return something? Understood? People, sometimes it happens what function provides is not the final result. I repeat one more time. जो function हमको calculate करके देता है या operate करके provide करता है, that is not the final result. That's an intermediate result. And based on that result, we have to calculate the other result. For example, to calculate percentage, I need sum. To calculate average, I need sum. Average or mean. I hope you're getting my point. Similarly, in this way, maybe there could be some other statistical operation which will require sum as an intermediate operation. Right? So, in calculating percentage is altogether different from calculating an average. So, both has an intermediate step of calculating a sum. So, in that case, we always make function to return a value. We take that value. Since that is not going to be the final value, we operate upon it with the rest of the formula. Are you understanding? The same point I have written here in my presentation, if I am not wrong. Yeah. Okay. A return value. First of all, why does a function return a value? Return value is used where function is an intermediate step. That part is bold. Means the data written by the function is not going to be the final answer. That's an intermediate step, and that intermediate step is common for other process or procedures. You understanding it? That's, for example, in order to calculate the grade, I need a total. Whether I should give you A grade, O grade, B grade, I need a total. Understood? To give you calculate percentage, I need a total. As I told you, to calculate average or mean, I need a total. So these are the procedures: calculating average, calculating percentage, calculating grade, whose intermediate step is a sum. Am I right? So basically we make functions to return a value when there is an intermediate step in some kind of calculation, right? You want to get a final result which will involve some values that needs to be calculated by function. All right, please somebody, if you could acknowledge to me in the chat box, that would be of great help. Is that clear or not? Hurry up, people. Fine. I think there is a lagging. Okay, never mind. Let's go ahead. Clear. Okay, thank you so much. Fine. Parth says clear. Alright, I could see other messages too popping up slowly. Fine. Going ahead from here. Alright, so this was all about function arguments, making function returning a value. Alright. From here on, we move towards another concept of Python called as module. Always remember, module is a Python file with .py extension. Understood? Is an entire Python program. Module is an entire Python program with .py extension. We understand extensions, right? Like notepads have extension .txt. MS Word files have extension .doc, doc or docx. PowerPoint presentations have extension .ppt, and there are hundreds and hundreds of such examples. Right? Similarly, any Python program will always have an extension .py. So modules are always a file. Let me put it up in presentation. Okay, so modules are simply the files with extension .py, and it contains some Python code. Okay, and it contains some Python code. This file can be imported in other Python programs. Alright, this file, entire file can be imported as a code in other code. How? Let's see. I hope you got my point. Let's see. So, first of all, let us start with who are the inbuilt modules of Python. There are many inbuilt modules, out of which I take an example of module math. I take an example of module math. It's an easy module to understand. Otherwise, we have a module date and time also. If time permit, we'll see it. Otherwise, we'll close the story at math. Whereas date and time is also equally important. Right. Fine. So here we go. This is my Jupyter notebook. Alright. Say I want to calculate the power of 2 raised to 3. Right. So one method is we use a formula or an operator, exponent, that shows me 8. Another is I use an inbuilt function from math module called as power, that is math.pow. Okay, pow. So 2, 3. The first argument, look, these are the arguments of the function. Understood? Here math is a module, and in this module there is a function defined called as pow. Exactly the way we define the function add, this is a function pow. Remember, a module which is a file with .py extension can contain many functions defined in it. Understood? It can have many functions, it can have many constants, a lot of code present in that file. Sometimes these files are also called as libraries. Understood? Programming languages have its own ample of libraries. In Python, here it is like making one of our own such library. Got it? हम खुद जैसे हमारी अपनी लाइब्रेरी बना रहे हैं. मैथ उसी तरह पाइथन की एक इनबिल्ट लाइब्रेरी है. जब आप लाइब्रेरी यूज करते हो मींस उसके अंदर एक से ज्यादा फंक्शन डिफाइन हो सकते हैं. Like math is the name of the library, power is a function defined in this library. So it's 8. Alright, okay. And suppose I want to find out the ceiling value of 2.3. You understand ceiling and floor, right? In one of the past sessions we have discussed it during bootcamp. Ceiling is always the nearest higher value in whole number, and floor is always the nearest lower value as a whole number, correct? So if 2.3 is a floating point number, it is between 2 and 3. 2 will be floor, 3 will be ceiling. 7.8 is a floating point number between 7 and 8. So the lower end value is a floor and the higher end upper value is a ceiling, that is 8. So for 2.3, ceiling will be 3. But if I try to display its floor, it will show me 2. Alright, fine. Okay, guys, most of the time it happens when you write the code like this: math.floor, math.ceil, math.power, math.square root, math.log. It gives you an error, math not defined. Since in one of the recent example I have just imported math, that's the reason this error is not shown to me. Otherwise हो सकता है आप use करें तो आपको error दिखाए math not defined. So in that case we have to, before using math dot, we have to first import math. Okay. Most possibly or most probably we are using this keyword import for the first time in Python program today. The keyword import in program or in Python code is used to import a module. Understood? Python comes in with hundreds of default modules. And the developers of Python have provided us as a gift a lot of libraries. Like a math library contains all the math related functions. String library contains all the string related functions. Date and time module or library contains all date and time related functions. In such way, it depends upon what project you want to develop. You have to import that specific library which will give you functions required to code it. Understood? If they're working on some fintech projects, you're working on some IoT projects, you're working on some robotic project, you're working some AI or ML projects. So Python comes with such kind of libraries. Very soon we are also going to import NumPy, Pandas and Seaborn and so on. So what is this NumPy? What is this Panda? These are the predefined libraries. These are the predefined modules provided by the developers of Python. So before using them, before using these modules, you have to make sure you have first imported it in your program, or you have included that entire module in your program. Only then the functions inside those modules in the code can be interpreted. Alright. So in case of math.floor or math.any function, when you use and it shows error, math not defined, math not found, that means you have not imported the necessary module. Okay, the first step in that case will be use import statement and import the required library before using any function of the library. Fine. So that's floor value, that is 2. So even if I write 2.9999999, the floor is going to be 2 only. Alright? Or even if I write 2.0000001 and I try to print the ceiling. Okay, remember this number is between 2 and 3. Correct? This number is between 2 and 3. So ceiling is going to be 3 only. Anyways, we are not struggling today to understand floor and ceiling. This is something we have already done. We are understanding the concept of module. One predefined modules, other one coming up how to define our own module. Alright, so math done, ceiling done. Few more functions from Python, or let me say math module of Python. Like if I want to find out square root of 4. Okay, square root of 4. We know that's 2. Square root of 49. 7 sevens are 49. Am I right? Square root of 499. Okay, so it gives me answer in some floating point figure. Something. So that's a square. Okay, if you want to find out the absolute value of something. Absolute value. So that's 499. If I say minus, that's also 499. We understand absolute value, right? Like something that we take in between the two mod. Okay, absolute value of minus 4 is 4 only. absolute value of minus 10 is 10. That minus only shows a direction, left, right, up, down, or whatever it could be. It's a vector quantity. Am I right? That's a vector quantity who possess both magnitude and direction. For those of my friends who don't understand science into that depth, I give you one example. So starting from this point where I'm sitting, I start walking 4 kilometers left, and someone from you start walking 4 kilometers right. So we both have walked the distance of 4 kilometers. But I write plus 4, you write minus 4. So plus minus only indicates the direction. Right? Actually the magnitude, both of us have covered the same distance. That's 4. Alright. So f abs, nothing but it will give you the absolute value of any number. Alright, similarly, there are hundreds of other functions in math module that you can practice or check. So what is the logarithmic value of it? Or maybe what is the sine value of it? Okay, it gives you answer in radians. You have to convert it into degrees. Okay, like sine 30 or cos 30 or cos 90 or cos 0 or cos 1. Whatever answer that you will get it, that is in terms of radians, not degrees. Okay. Similarly, if I want to find out the cos value of something, it's like a calculator if I'm not wrong, right? It's just like a scientific calci, the math module which is beautifully working for us. Something like this. Is it right? Although I stop here, but you need to explore back at home. You look, there are so many other functions provided by math module. Cos, degrees, dist, exp, for any exponential, factorial. Okay, to provide a factorial of a number, and so on. Alright, you can easily get it if you surf it. The different methods in math module. We just wanted to explore this concept to understand what is the meaning of module. Alright, for some time I'm going to work in Python idle, and I'll show you how to create our own module. Okay, so here we go. This is my Python idle. Check is there any questions in the chat box. Okay. Alright, thank you. Please put up your doubts in the chat box. I would be glad to answer you. Alright, here we go. Idle is here. Okay. Fine. I create a new file. And I write the code in this file. Okay. Say def. Okay, code in this file, say def. This file is actually going to contain 4 functions. Okay, 4 functions. Say addition, which will receive 2 numbers and simply print the sum of it. Okay, that is the sum is x plus y. Similarly, we have another function called as subtraction, who will again receive 2 arguments whenever it is called. It's going to receive 2 arguments, and then it will print the difference is x minus y. There's another function in this file called as multiplication. Okay, which is again receiving 2 arguments xy. And if I say print, that's the product is x into y. Okay guys, remember one thing. When you say xy, the scope of xy is inside the function block only. Understanding it? The scope of xy will be only inside the function block, because this is called as a local variable. Okay, these are not a global variable. Who will be the global variable? Say if I define some variable like this sum. Now this sum is a way, or let me say z. this is not local. Z का scope is global, means it can be used by addition, it can be used by subtraction, it can be used by multiplication, because it is not defined under any function. So if a variable is defined inside or under any function, so its scope will be local to that function only. Hoping you understand it. Alright, and if the variable is defined outside the functions, that means anywhere inside the program but not inside any function, not inside any for loop, that means it's a global variable and it can be used across the program anywhere. So Z can be used by addition, Z can be used by subtraction, Z can be used by multiplication. But in case if I would have defined Z over here, say Z over here, then in this case Z can be used only by addition. Its scope will die. Understood? Its scope will die once you are out of, let me say, the function block. Hoping you understand. That's all. Let me remove this out since I want to keep my program small and precise. Alright. So local and the global scope of the variable. After session today back home, try to explore this concept a little more. What is a local scope and what's a global scope in Python of a variable? Right? I discussed this point for the people who are understanding. Then why are you using same variables x and y again and again? No, I'm using again and again, but because the scope is dying once you are coming out of the function, correct? X और y known है, उनकी पहचान है जब तक वो function के अंदर है. Function के बाहर आने पर उनकी कोई पहचान नहीं है, because their scope is local in the function only. Or if x and y were defined outside the functions like this, say x equals 0, y equals 0, then this function would have been considered as a global, or variables would have been considered as a global variables. Alright. Anyways, let's wind up this story by creating one more function. Let's say division, who also receives two arguments x and y, and it simply prints, the division is x divided by y. Finish. Alright, now what matters is the next step. What are you doing? I go to file and I save this program. Okay. Alright, this is I am getting a message, reconnection successful. I hope I am audible, visible to you, right? I'm audible, visible to you. My screen sharing is on. Is everything fine at your end? All clear at your end, guys? I'm getting a message that reconnection successful. Is everything fine at your end? You missed out on nothing, right? Yes, ma'am. Perfect. Okay, thank you so much for that. But thank you very much. Okay. Alright, so this is where the concept lies. Okay. Modules are simply files with py extension containing Python code. Read the line till here and apply the meaning there. Isko apply karo. So these are simply files with .py extension containing Python code. Here we go. So mathematics.py and I save it. Alright, I write another program now. Alright, another program I write. Say x is equal to, or let me say a is equal to, accept a value from the user. Input. Enter first number. B is equal to int input. Enter second number. Alright, and I call those functions now. That is addition, a comma b. Let us call them one by one. Okay, let me save this program. Mind you, this is the second program I'm writing. It's a different file. Okay, it's a different file. I say, okay, fine. Unfortunately, if I try to run this code, see, enter the first number 5, enter the second number 3, and it shows error that addition is not defined. And it is very correct, addition is not defined in the file practice.py. Addition is defined in the file mathematics.py, correct? So what we have to do, we have to first import mathematics.py. You have to first import mathematics.py inside practice.py. While using the statement import, do not write .py, just write name of the file, not with extension. Right, so import mathematics. Now once you have imported mathematics, from mathematics this function addition will be located. Right. So let me save this again, run it. Enter the first number, it shows me 4. Enter the second number, I write a 5. Addition is not defined. I hope the name was addition. I think I need to write like this, math.addition. Alright, remember how did we write math.floor? My mistake, I forgot that. Math.floor, math.ceiling, math.pow, math.square root. So whenever we use a function from any module, you have to write the name of the module attached with it. Okay, ऐसा क्यों होता है? The reason why, because suppose there are two modules. One is mathematics, one is calculation. Now, coincidentally, इत्तेफाक से, coincidentally, both of these modules contain one function addition in them each. So if addition is called without the module name, compiler of Python will be confused, like addition should be called from mathematics or addition should be called from the module calculation. That's the reason always write the name of the module, imported module from where you want to call it. This line I delete, that was only for an example. So math.addition. Now check. Save this, run this. Enter the first number 4, enter the second number 5. Oh, sorry. Math. It's not math, it's mathematics. Alright. Just to show you math.ceil, math.floor, I wrote there math, it's mathematics. Enter the first number 4, enter the second number 5, and the sum is 9. Alright, correct. If I could run on a little clear screen. 5, 7, 7 plus 5, that's 12. Correct. So let us call the other functions from mathematics module, that is mathematics dot subtraction, by passing a and b, and a and b over there will be received by x and y, correct? A will be welcomed as a guest in x, b will be welcomed as a guest in y, correct? Similarly, mathematics dot multiplication, by sending argument a and b from here to the function there, who will be received as arguments x, y in the function. And mathematics dot division, again a comma b. Alright, fine. So let's save this, let's run this. Enter the first number 10, enter the second number 5. Yeah, 10 plus 5, 15, 10 minus 5, 5, 10 into 5, 50, 10 divided by 5, that is 2. There is one more method you can import the function or import the module, one more. Suppose I don't want to import entire mathematics. Sometimes what happens, some modules are very heavy, like if you import it, your file is not just this 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of code. It is possible that this module itself contains thousands of lines of code inside. And so if you open ever math module of Python, string module of Python, many other module of Python and read it, it will make you pull your hair out. So much of code in these libraries are present. So importing this library means it will come with its entire code in your program, and it will simply make your program heavy to run during execution time. Right? So at times developer क्या करता है, उस मॉड्यूल को पूरा नहीं इंपोर्ट करता है, he or she imports specific function from the module. Like I just want addition from mathematics, then why should I import the entire mathematics which will come with subtraction, division, multiplication? Pura क्यों import कर दे हम, right? So in that case we will say from mathematics, import just addition. Just a moment, there's a disturbance here. Alright, I'm back. Right, so from mathematics import addition. What will happen? First of all, let me comment these lines. 1, 2, 3, because this will throw an error. We will just use addition. In this case, there is no need to write the name of the module, because you have very clearly specified you want to import addition from mathematics. Alright, since only one function has been imported from mathematics, it is but obvious understood addition is from mathematics only, because that has been exclusively imported. तो बस ये एक ही क्राइटेरिया होता है जहां पर हम मॉड्यूल का नाम फंक्शन के साथ नहीं लिखते, जब उस फंक्शन अकेले को इंपोर्ट किया गया है. So if I say run, yeah, save this code. 5, enter 5, it says 10. But the same thing if I try to do with subtraction. 5. Although addition is shown, but mathematics is not defined, because mathematics is not imported only. Right? And how can you import multiple functions? Say I want addition, comma, subtraction. Alright, I define 4 functions inside. There could be 4,000 functions in it, correct? Libraries might have thousands and millions of functions inside. So out of them, only those selected which you want, you can give them comma, separated, and import together. So it should work now. Mathematics.subtraction nahi, just subtraction, because it has been directly imported. So let me save this piece of code and I say that. Enter the first number, say 5, second number again 5, the difference is 0 and the sum is 10. Alright, would be glad if somebody could acknowledge to me here in the chat box. Are you understanding or not? What is module? What is an inbuilt module? Or how to create our own module? Waiting guys, waiting for you to write in the chat box. Understood. Thank you so much, man. Fine. What about the others today? I could see so many people here. Okay, maybe they are busy with something. Alright, fine. Okay, there is much more to be understood about the module. But as for now, for today, we will stop the session here. Alright, a very quick recap of what we have learned. We started with, let me say, functions returning values. We then moved on to understand what's a module. Module is a file, Python program with .py extension. It contains all the functions inside, and this entire file can be imported into other file or other program. Is that very clear? Fine. Okay guys, I'm going to come up with one session wherein we are not going to learn any new topic, but along with me I will make you to practice some programs on our discussed topics. Like a rapid fire, we will try to write the code and practice it. Alright, some programs based on dictionaries, some program based on tuples and all. Hoping you understand. Okay, for a time being, like for an assignment like today, I'm still not ready with the file that I promised to send you. Okay, take this kind of question. Like, look, if you could try, back it off. Say this is a list of tuples. You understand tuples, right? Say it's a list of all the batsmen. Batsmen. Say Rohit, and he scored 67. Okay, let me say Virat. He scored 78. Okay, just writing random names here. John, he scored 99. Jack, he scored, Jack, I should be inside. He scored say 24. Okay, this is a list of batsmen. We need to write a Python code which will show us, write a Python program that shows to show the total score. Okay, total score means what? What do you want to say? Hint. It should show me the total of 67 plus 78 because that will be the total score of the match, correct? The total of all the runs scored by the different batsmen or the different players, team members. 99, okay, plus 24. Hoping you are understanding. Correct. So, anyways, whatever. Irrespective of it's factual data or not, that's my just randomly entered data. Correct. So write a Python program to show the total score scored by these batsmen. You have to make sure that you keep it completed before we meet next time. Alright. One more announcement before I could wind off the session today. People, most probably tomorrow we will have the session from 6 to 6:45. Okay. Just check the channel if you have already an upcoming class coming up by 5:30. Understood? Even till 5:30, if there is no upcoming class scheduled, that means there is no lecture. Alright, this is on account of what we have missed in the last days. Alright, so that this 40 days is not elongated much because we have a lot of other courses coming up like digital marketing, Django and all. For the people and those of my friends who are interested to learn. So that's the reason to cope up with the loss. We will be working on Saturdays and Sundays. Alright, 6 to 6:45 won't take a lot of time beyond that. Practice is the key. Make sure to keep you motivated. Do keep practicing. Even post. Yes, thank you. Even post classes, हम जो पढ़ रहे हैं Python उतना ही नहीं है. Python is a very big ocean. Understood? If you master it, it will help you to earn beyond your imagination as well, and it will open the unexpected doors of other section of the technology. Is that clear? Fine. Okay. And as at the end, as I always say, if you have really benefited, you like our work, please give us a like to our channel, to our videos, so that will keep us motivated. Okay. Bye. Goodbye. Take care. Check for the session tomorrow. Okay. कल क्लास रहेगा तो 5:30 बजे तक का schedule हो जाएगा lecture. Okay. Please like the videos. We would be thankful to you for that. Goodbye. Take care.